Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about motherfucking the relationship or the actual energy that Jupiter and the Sun is going to give you dealing with the houses. Because, you know, when we talk about astrology and we talk about the differences between your natural zodiac and then the placement it have in the larger clock, which is how it aligns into your houses. You know what I'm saying? They play out two completely different characteristics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make this clear. The zodiac actually come from the houses. The houses don't come from the zodiac. So it's not that the zodiac sign rules the house. The house rules the zodiac sign. The house was here first. The house is nothing but a 360 realm of reality of a space within a space. And the space within the space, the overall space, still overall comes to a 360. And then every space within the space have its own version of this 360. Now this 360 can be broken down into 2 directions, 4 directions, 6 directions, 7 directions, 8 directions, 10 directions, 12 directions. Then it makes a completion of the 360 of a pie. Now in this realm of reality, we tie our 360 realm of reality to a Pacific zodiac wheel. So that's how we look at things. Since we're in the physical growth chakra of this being that we're in, we're experiencing a physical reality. Now that's the energy that Earth may carry. Now, reason why you're experiencing maybe love energies and hatred energies and wisdom energies and spiritual energies and things like that is because those energies are coming from the other planets. But you need to be informed that you are not experiencing these energies physically. These energies have to be played out through something physical, and the only thing that can be played out on a physical terms is things that's based upon growth, physicality, and nurture, and those energies are represented by Earth. So if you're going to be into astrology, you can't be closing out the actual Earth planet itself, because it carries an energy just the same way as these other planets, and all these planets aligned itself is the whole connection of the being that you're in. So for an example, this is why you don't experience love physically. This is why you don't experience hatred physically. This is why you have to get played out through something physically. So you have to express your anger physically. Someone have to love you, a physical person have to express their love to you physically for you to see that representation of the energy. But you know how I feel, right? So now, but the reason why you can feel it physically is due to the planetary energies of Earth and Saturn. But that's another video, because we're talking about life. Saturn don't nurture. Saturn just practicalizes the stability. This is what enables for energies to become solid on Earth and to form itself, but still be able to transform because it has a fluid inside it. So this is why you're able to move and not just stay stiff in one spot. But look, check this out. We want to talk about each planet, which is each chakra of this being, shows a different carries a different energy. And you already have the energy of being physical and being nurtured and having growth. This is why you have a physical body, because you're on Earth. Now, this is the Earth representation. Now, check this out. The representations that the Sun and Jupiter are going to give you when it's represented in your houses. Now, see, your sun sign is basically, now this is the most powerful. This is where all the planets, this is like the head of the body. You know what I'm saying? This is the eye, this is the sight of the body. This is the information, the insight, the enlightenment, how this body sees things. So whatever age or whatever area of space that this body is traveling is going to be some of the energies that you be able to pick up also. Just like, for an example, for you to be a human, right, and you want to pick up other life, you want to pick up signals from other life, right? The only way you're going to be able to physically understand them, and if you find another representation of the Earth chakra in whatever solar system you're looking towards to find another life in, right? You're gonna have to look towards another Earth, because we know from a planetary Earth representation that in order to inhabit life, it needs certain Earth traits, right? Now, because we know that's the energy that Earth carried due to astronomy, not even talking about astrology, right? Now, when we talk about it as far as, now that we know physically, we have a point of reference where we could point to. Now we have to use the other planetary energies and know how to receive information. We know the more knowledge. For an example, when you say you a person, you got a space within a space. So you a person talking to another person, right? And you give this person you enlighten this person on something that they didn't know about. So you gave this person new information, right? So the way you did that, okay, you use Mercury because you use your analyzing and your communication skills, right? And your thinking skills in order to communicate. So you use the Mercury, right? Then you use what you know, which is your wisdom, your knowledge, what you have knowledge based on, what you have learned. You use your Jupiter, right, to express that. Now, whether you expressed it in a loving or hatred way, that's dependent on whether it was Venus or Mars that you use with it, and depending on your sun sign is how you acted on it, and your moon sign is how you felt about it, like your emotional stance on whatever you presenting, and how you see it as a whole, and your rising sign was your personality when you expressed it. Now, you see all those energies involved is what you had to use, and then by you being a physical person on Earth, now all these energies got extracted through the physical on Earth while you being on Earth. That's how the energies get played out. Then it get played out through an earthling being with a spaceship. Right. Now this person, you used all the other planets and your Earth planet to give this person some information that they may have not known about. Now this person received in their universe something that you had in your universe. You see what I'm saying? So, aka, as this solar system we're in being one being, that's one of the ways it communicates. So, by you being a specimen or a species just in one chakra of it, you're gonna have to utilize these same type of informations in order to communicate with other life on another chakra from a solar system that may represent something like Earth, like here. So for an example, we can't be sitting here thinking like, okay, we got to come up with some type of satellite and see how far the distance go in order to see if we can reach this other planet and this other solar system, see if it's life. You're already wrong because you're using an Earth quality to try to figure out another physicality, and the only thing you're going to be able to see is another physical representation, and you're not going to have any information to know what it is because you're not using Mercury to think or analyze or communicate the proper way of how to communicate with other life. But look, that's another video. We're going to talk about what the importance that the Sun and Jupiter has in your houses. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get off, y'all know how I go ramble, and I ain't did a video in a couple of days because I've been going through some, situations. But, right now we're going to talk about, now, the Sun, now, like I said, Jupiter is tied to your spiritual inclination, not like Neptune, your long creative imaginary way of thinking about spirituality, but your spirituality that you have without having to connect to something further to attach to it to some. That's like, because Neptune's so far away, so that's how it's gonna play. That's how it's gonna represent. Since Jupiter a little closer, it's your spirituality base, your ideas, your spirit. It is your spirituality planet, and then Neptune plays like coming up with creative concepts for your spirituality, or coming up with what you can imagine, or with the generation you're within right now, and whatever whatever space within space this being is traveling through to make you look at spirituality in the way you look at it. So that means whatever Neptune, whatever the planet is going to be, which is near the tail of this being, is going to validate how you actually see spirituality, what kind of creative or imaginary or what kind of dreams of spirituality you have in the first place. But in another sense, the spiritual understanding that you already have is with Jupiter. This is how you already see spirituality. So in a lot of ways, Jupiter is your wisdom, how you learn in the space-time and continuum you in. It's how you teach and how you be taught. So when it plays out through your houses, it's going to play out as things you already know, the travels your spirit already been through. Now your moon is going to be representation of what moments you already experienced, what kind of emotional state you're going to be in, and how how you're going to your emotional stance around the situation which house is in. See, your sun is your actions. That's the way you act. But the house that your sun is in is where you should focus your energy towards, where you should focus how you act, what you should be acting on. This is why you're going to be a totally different Gemini than another Gemini. This is why you're going to be a totally different Taurus than another Taurus. This is why you're going to be a totally different Libra than another Libra. Because for an example, you might be a Libra and this person might be a Libra. So you love to initiate and create new ways how to think and communicate, right? But if one person's sun sign is in the 3rd house and another person's sun sign is in the 8th house, then the things that y'all going to initiate and create new ways of trying to think and communicate about is going to be in 2 different areas of life. So you guys might both talk a lot. Y'all might be like, damn, we got something in common. We talk a lot, but man, we ain't nothing alike, because what that person into is way entirely than what I'm into. Yeah, the person with the sun in the 8th house might be into mysticism, occult things, astrology, you know what I'm saying, jealousy, greed, keeping more secretive with their thinking and more manipulative with their communicating. You know what I'm saying? Then the person with the sun in the 3rd house, Libra, may be a person who like to initiate and create new ways of how to think and communicate amongst their surroundings more, amongst their friends, their close friends, familiar places and faces, and close stores that they go to. So the slight difference that they may have is that the sun and Libra person in the 8th house may not even like going to the same store every day, just because they don't want to see the same faces there every day. And the person in the with the sun, with Libra sun in the 3rd house, may love going to that same store every day, because they can pick up the same conversation with the store clerks and everybody that they know and their basic surroundings at that store every day. So this what makes them different. So that was just to break down a little example of how I could break down where your sun is your actions, the way you act, but the house that it's in is where you should focus your actions on. Now, the relationship that Jupiter and the sun have, now check this out. Jupiter in the houses, whatever house is in, is going to represent what you already know, what your spirit already done gain information about, what your spirit already have wisdom about, what you already intuitively have knowledge about. So if you got other kind of it's like what you naturally got wisdom about, even if you don't even quite know about the situation like that. That's why if say for an example, a person with Jupiter in the 8th house, then they have no, I don't want to use this example. This is why a lot of people who got chart rulers Jupiter or something like that, they may not be good with school, but they know like how to learn from life. You see what I'm saying? So Jupiter is like wisdom. It's what you already know. Whatever house is in, that's what you already have wisdom on, and if you don't got wisdom and knowledge on it, it's going to bring a lot of experiences in your life in order for you to learn it, in order for you to gain wisdom and knowledge on it. It puts you in situations that make you feel like, man, why me? Why always me? You know what I'm saying? Or why this happened to me? It's because Jupiter is trying to give you, is trying to put you in a situation long enough for you to learn it. And if you keep failing it, then Jupiter brings experiences. You know what I'm saying? Experiences. It's the spirit. It's the idea. It's the space. It's the spirituality. So it brings wisdom, knowledge. But you can't have wisdom and knowledge on something if you not experience it. And once you start to experience it, then that's when you start to gain an emotional stance about it. Then it starts to attract your soul and stuff. But everything starts with the spirit first, the idea, the space, the room of idea. And Jupiter is more tied to, it's a mist. It's a mist planet. So it's not entirely wet, but it's more of a form of gas. So it's more tied to the spirit realm. So it's not tied into the fluid, so it's more into the frequency instead of the vibe. So it's more of the idea first. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to come to you as an idea of something first. See what I'm saying? So when whatever house you have Jupiter in, this is what you're going to have this is what you have natural wisdom of, or if not, you're going to experience a lot of situations in your life in order for you to have wisdom on it. And if you're a person who keep throwing it to the side and thinking this is not what it's trying to teach you, then you're just going to be a naive person who keep having to do the same thing over and over, and even have to witness 3D reality again, which a lot of y'all are already doing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Is this something that you witnessing right now in your life that you don't want to let go? You just don't want to let go? Shit, you probably experienced 3D reality about 100 times. Your soul probably been here just continually not letting that shit go, because you can't even let it go in this goddamn lifetime. You know, telling how many times your dumb ass has been here. And that's probably why you dumb and super left brain right now. You know what I'm saying? But that's another video. But we're going to go to talking about the relationship between the sun and Jupiter and how they're going to play out in your houses. Now, since we know now whatever house Jupiter is in is the house you're going to have natural wisdom on, or you're going to or gain experience on having knowledge and wisdom on. And we know the sun, whatever house the sun is in, is what you should be focusing your actions on. Then we know that if in order for you to be smart, then you have to know your planetary, know thyself, know your chart, and go into your houses and know what you already have wisdom on, and know what to put, and then you will know what to put in you'll know what to put into action. And you'll know what or not to do in so many realms of reality. Now, I'm not saying this is like a secret for you to never fall short. As a human, you always gonna fall short. But it's how hard you fall. That's the key. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to fall as hard as it initially would be if you just go ahead and know thyself. You know what I'm saying? But by us being in a collective conscious, we're still always going to be receiving other people's energies, outer energies, internal energies, in order for us to even still be confused on what we're actually trying to fight from a day-to-day basis. But the smarter you get from a day-to-day basis, the more and more that you don't have to fall as hard. Now, when we want to talk about, say, let's give out some examples right now. Let's say, anytime your sun and Jupiter is in the same house. Now, if we're talking about Jupiter is what you already here to be done. I mean, what you already know, what you already have wisdom on, and the sun is your actions, and we know whatever house your sun is in is what you should be focused on, what your actions and your intentions should be focused on. Then we know that if the sun and Jupiter is in the same house, then in so many frequencies, that means you're here to do what you already done. You're here to do what you've done in the past life. For an example, my Jupiter is a 10th and 9th house cusp, but a lot of charts will show us just in the 9th house. But it exactly is the same. My Jupiter is exactly the same degree as my 10th house. My Jupiter is 6 degrees Taurus, and my 10th house is 6 degrees Taurus. But since it's still early and it doesn't go above, certain charts will still show that it's in a 9th house, but it's like a light and dark aspect to it. But enough about my chart. Let's just talk about it like if it's in the 9th house. Now, if Jupiter is in the 9th house, and then I have the sun in the 9th house also, what happens here is that means, let's say the 9th house. 9th house represents philosophy, higher learning, higher education, teaching, being taught, wisdom, experiences. Long distance travel within the mind, or it could come out through the physical. That's why it's the house of Sagittarius, because it could be long distance between the shooting between the mind, or the long distance travel between the running along the lines. Now, when we talk about Jupiter being here, this is what I'm going to have a lot of wisdom and knowledge on. And if I don't, I'm going to be put into a lot of situations in my life that are going to make me learn the wisdom out of the experiences that I've been having, so I don't have to keep experiencing the harshness out of them situations, right? So this is what I have. This is where my Jupiter at. This is where I have a lot of wisdom. I have a lot of wisdom and knowledge on philosophy, education, teaching, or being taught. You know what I'm saying? Now my sun is here also. So this is what I'm actually here to do in this lifetime also. So I'm here to act on what I already have wisdom and knowledge on. See, you see what I'm saying? So it'll play out differently if it was in different other places. Say you have Jupiter, now let's separate them. Say you have Jupiter in the 7th house, and you have the sun in the 2nd house. Right? So with Jupiter being in the 7th house, you're going to have a lot of wisdom and knowledge about relationships and all sorts in this lifetime, in this space-time continuum we in. You're going to have experience, or you're going to be experiencing a lot of situations to make you gain wisdom amongst amongst people, places, and things. So you're gonna have a lot of wisdom and knowledge. So you're gonna be the one people come to ask for advice about their relationships, or how they should relate to certain things, or if they into the right type of shows, or if they watching the right type of things, or into the right type of knowledge that they should be into. You're gonna be the type of person that they come to relate these things to. Now your actions. Now if your sun is in the 2nd house, then your actions is gonna be to value that in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? You should act on value in that. You should. This should be your actions. Your actions should be appreciating the wisdom and knowledge that you have based upon relationship. Your actions should be on looking at the detail and gaining a value and appreciation and a moral system within inside you, like a self-esteem about what you know about wisdom and knowledge when it comes to relationships and validations. And you will see like doors open. You will see yourself receiving things just based upon your wisdom and knowledge about relationships, or movies you into, and you just know how to put metaphors together and bring that into real life to other people. You know what I'm saying? We could do like and then like, let's break it down due to the sextiles and squares and oppositions and conjunctions, because we know, well, as far as flight astrology, when we talk about the houses, the squares and the squares and the oppositions are the good planetary alignments, and the sextiles and the trines are negative, and conjunction can lie in between. And when we talk about your natural natal alignment, without talking about the houses, just talking about your natural planetary signs, the sextile and the trine are the most positive, and the opposition or the squares are the negative. And you know what I'm saying? And the conjunction lies in between. And here's the big difference why it's like that. Because oppositions and squares bring situations in your life due to outer external references, and trines and sextiles brings in your situations from internal. Is what you bring out. So sextiles and trines is what you bring out, and squares and oppositions is what you inhabit from others or outer influences. And conjunctions go either or. That's why it could be confused. You know what I'm saying? So a conjunction could play out like a trine at times, and it could play out like an opposition at times. Now that's why they're separated. Why this procedure is good in the houses, and why this procedure would be bad when we talk about the regular natal planetary alignments, as far as the sextiles and the trines and oppositions and the squares. Because look, we know sextiles and trines would be your gifts, sextiles would be your opportunities, whether they're good or bad. So we know these are something you have to act on. So when we talk about your regular planetary signs, when you act on these things, it becomes a benefit. But when we talk about it in your houses is your spiritual path and your life situations. If you're not jumping on it and you're procrastinating, like for example, a trine is a gift. A gift is something you already have. If it's something you already have, you know you have it, you're not going to be paying attention to it as much as it's something new. So it's something like a talent that you already have, but you don't act on it all the time. That's bad when it comes to the houses. Sextiles is opportunities, for good or bad. A lot of times opportunities is something you're going to naturally have when it comes into your houses. Because for an example, if your second house is freaking Virgo, then your sextile to your second houses is always going to be the 12th house and the 12th house and the 4th house. And at Virgo, your second house, then you always going to have a sextile. Your 12th house is always going to be Cancer, and your fourth house, your Cancer, and your 4th house is always going to be Scorpio. So those is always going to be opportunities for you. So as far as your second house is how you value, how you show how you value something, your house of values, your self-esteem, and what you feel like you have to offer to the world. So it's always going to